So Orson Welles says that Shirley Temple's mother used to stand behind the stage, and every time Temple was about to be called out um, on screen, on film, she would cry out, "Sparkle, Shirley! Sparkle, Shirley!" Um, in the statement, I tried to make a contrast between Zizek as representative of the Ancien regime or liberalism over and against Dugin as representative of um, what is yet to come, uh, in the understanding that, taken from a correct view within liberalism, we must say Dugin is the figure of the extreme, uh, how do you say, Jacobite, or even much more extreme than that, going back uh, to Alexander Nevsky and to the deeper into the Middle Ages, let's say. And Zizek is the representative, supposedly, of the universal human rights and therefore the future of a progressive um, improvement of human things. Um, Schultz has said around the time of the former Secretary of State, I believe his office was, around the time that Fukuyama came out with the article with the question mark at the end of it, the notorious article, um, that one of the major criteria for determining whether we have the liberal democracy or not is the rational distribution of decision-making power or capability. I think this qualifier, rational, um, shows us the a profound juxtaposition when set against the ancient Athenian notion, as that in Pericles' funeral oration, where he says the ordinary citizens, even when engaged in industry during the day, are still a fair judge of public matters. So the Pericles statement is a statement that is a kind of vernacular statement, whereas the qualification in the Schultz statement, if we don't take it in the vernacular, just as though rational distribution, the term rational, or just something everyone can understand in their own way, and it somehow just means sensible, or maybe it just means commonsensical. If we don't take rational to point back to a question of whether those who know what they're doing should make decisions, or whether anyone is a fair judge of any matter, then the two statements would be the same. But if the statement rational does have something to do with the notion of science, with the notion of that there is knowledge and some people therefore have knowledge and some people don't, then the statements form a radical cleavage. So this grim obliteration of the look of the current period, which seems to have been affected will be thinkable through passing through the road, which shows Zizek in contradistinction to Dugin, and which shows he who perhaps he who attempts to still show the theoretical or scientific meaning of the rational or of reason as over and above the pure absorption in being, and therefore a closer stance, somehow a more concrete stance in relation to transcendence. That the holding of this analog in our vision is, in a certain sense, the central cleavage of this time, and therefore, in grasping it, we can come into full possession of a view to a clear apprehension of everything that the tradition has learned. The mere juxtaposition, I think, is also entailed of the tradition as over and against the iconoclast and what's supposed to be wholly new as broken down in such a way, or breaks down in this reflection in such a way that one can't simply say, I'm out of the box, or I've been creative, or etc., and simply be seen to be good, because then one thinks, doesn't that mean a stupid refusal of what has worked up to now in the tradition without actually taking one's steps and walking that path and seeing of what worth it is. These are both the views of the traditionalist and the radical for the sake of this look at what has been gravely obliterated as an undoubtedly proud look of somebody who is the iconoclast and broken the former law tables and come into something new. Can't be simply praised, can't be simply given as something strong and worthy, but must be withheld in the light of the conservation of the possibility of thinking through what is already part of the deposit of all things.